What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Today we're jumping back into the Kombi door again. As you probably could tell from the thumbnail, we're gonna get this thing nailed, and it has been pissing me off for so long that this time with this door, which what we should have done the first time. So from last episode, I'll chuck up here, we got rid of all the rust that we could and started welding in some new stuff. So at the end of last episode, I had the bottom inner rail all tacked in. So pretty much just gonna chuck you on a tripod and start with that. We're gonna weld this sucker in, then work on the outside shell and see how far we get. So please enjoy. Everybody, looking pretty good, all welded up. I just went along and zodded all of the edge. I then patched in that little piece here, this little piece here. I'm going to now quickly just take it outside, grind this back a little bit, get this nice and flush, wheel this out so I can then etch prime and then paint all in this area, get it all really nice and clean and painted so no rust appears. One thing I should have done, I looked at this piece, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's galvanized, but then I'm like, why would you galvanize it? It's got to be more expensive to galvanize it than paint it. I was an idiot. I should have zipped it back. It did. It's a really thin coating, but it did give me a little bit of issue welding it up, but it all worked out all right. So we'll do that, wheel it, clean it all up, paint it, and get ready to put this other top piece on. So there we go. I wheeled it. I didn't even grind any of this. As you can see, it's all still proud like it was. I don't see the point in going to town on it. It's really nice and sealed in there now, and no use grinding it off when you're not going to see it. I have cleaned the other side, but I'll show you that once I flip it back over. But everything looks really good. I have the other sill piece here ready to go, and sill piece here ready to go. So I'm going to get this mocked up, tacked into place, and then we can TIG this up, make it all look really nice, hopefully not get too much, or if any, very minimal amount of warp. And yeah, then we can move on to getting started up on this piece. After a long time, I had so much trouble. I had this piece warping when I weld here, and then I'd tack it over here, it would all bubble and warp, and then I'd then cut it all off, and then I'd start here and then work my way out and then warp again. Anyway, after much cutting and welding, we are pretty good. It's got a little bit of warpage in it, especially through the weld, which I'm going to try and panel bead out, but I need to tap these edges down. I want to tap these edges down all the way around, get this panel nice and taut before I then try to smooth it out a little bit more. So I'll check you on a time lapse. We're going to go around, bash all this up, and then hopefully the bottom of the door is pretty much finished and we can start working on the top and get this thing sorted. There we go, guys. It is looking so much better. This one welded in nice. I didn't film all of it. You've seen welding. I showed you a little bit. It was not too bad. There was a few little bits and pieces that I blew some holes in and had a little bit too high, but everything looks pretty good. I'll have to grind all that. I have all the bottom go on. I have welded this piece up here, a few little pieces through the middle that I cut through when I had issues with the bottom piece bowing, but it's all welded. So now I'm going to flip this thing over and I need to start getting the paint off the other side. When I tried before, it was just horrible because anytime I put anything on it, it would just clog up the grinding wheel or flap disc or anything else like that. So I'm going to try a heat gun and a scraper and try and get some of this paint off. So I'll chuck on a time lapse and see if this works. Okay guys, that worked awesomely. This stuff is just gooey and sticky, like it just screwed any sandpaper or any flat wheel I put on here. I need to clean all this up, but that's another story. I then buzzed some bits back. I found a bit of rust here, which I have zotted up a couple of holes. I have now a patch piece here, and so I'm going to weld that in, and that I think should be all the welding done. But it's all looking really good. So I'm going to weld this in. I'm going to then take it outside. I'll grind all of the welds down, get it all really nice and linished up. Everything should look awesome. And then we'll get some etch primer on it, make sure it's all covered and not going to rust at all. We'll chuck it back on the van. We'll make sure it all lines up and fits. And that might be the end of this episode. So let me chuck a time lapse on and get this welded up, get it all grinded and see how it works.
And there we go guys, it is looking awesome. In 2 days, going from a completely rusted out, horrible door to this, it's amazing. I could spend ages more on it, getting it really flat and using minimal amount of filler, but different strokes for different cars, I think. If it was the Porsche, I would spend a lot longer getting it really flat, really minimal amount of filler that I would have to use. For the Kombi though, it's a fun car. I want to get it out, I want to use it. I don't really care if it gets a little bit scratched, a little bit dented and that kind of stuff. So this amount of work I am happy with. It's really solid now. I haven't got any issues, I haven't to worry about any rust, which is all I'm looking for. I really appreciate you guys all hanging out and saying hello. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks guys.